Is upon us. It's opening night, and let's break down the official NBA 2K24 roster that was uploaded today. Really, two main changes to the roster: injuries were added, and then all of the missing two-way players that were not in the game previously. They got added to the game. There were 37 two-way players added, and then one player on a standard contract who was missing, Mr. Harry Giles, who plays for the Brooklyn Nets, who was out of the league for the last couple of years, had some injury struggles, etc., but seems to be over it now. So congratulations to him. We're not going to be going in depth on any of the two-way guys for the most part. These guys usually don't make a dent during their initial seasons. They really they're here just to be placeholders for the most part, and the only time they really become relevant is guys like Duncan Robinson, who is on the Miami Heat. He started off as a two-way contract guy, didn't do anything as a rookie, but then came on in his second season. Eventually, got himself promoted to a standard contract, and then entered the starting lineup, and has been one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA for the last couple seasons. The vast majority of two-way players are not going to have that career arc. Most of them kind of flunk out of the league, and they don't really make it into your average NBA 2K game. There aren't enough injuries for that to happen. The game doesn't send them down to the G League during a My NBA season. They just kind of sit here as placeholders, waiting for their careers to take off and or get waived or whatever. So it ends up being a lot more like busy work and clerical work for roster editors. Then you'll spend a lot more time editing, signing players to two-way contracts, releasing them, etc., than you do actually seeing any of these guys ever make it into a game. So it is one of the downsides of roster editing, but you got to have them in. They're all NBA players technically. Just reviewing some of the injuries. James Harden obviously not going to play for the Sixers for the foreseeable future until he gets his trade request or whatever sorted out. He's going to make things as uncomfortable as possible for the organization until he gets traded. And I guess it's also worth noting that positions were not updated in this roster update that 2K issued out. Maybe they'll update them in the first official ratings update. But for now, or they might wait a day for teams to play. I don't really understand what their calendar is, but like Tyrese Maxey, for example, is the starting point guard on this team with James Harden out, so they're going to want to switch his position, obviously. And I guess I'll sort through the teams down here so you can see the two-way players that got added. Bolden, Batum Sanogo, Amani Bates has first-round talent. He's one of those guys that might find his way up to a standard contract before long. The Cavs are pretty lucky to have him in their organization on such a team-friendly thing. Ricky Rubio, he's out due to personal reasons as he focuses on his mental health. LaMelo Ball is out for probably the rest of his career, to be quite honest, as his injury rehab. Not too many. I don't think any player really has actually recovered from the procedure that he had. Derek White is going to be the starting point guard on this team, so they're going to need to change his position, as Drew Holiday is actually going to be the sixth man for the Boston Celtics, essentially filling the role that Malcolm Brogdon had on the team last year. So you're also going to want to change his position to shooting guard so that he is sharing the court with Peyton Pritchard rather than playing over him. Josh Primo is suspended for the first couple games due to his issues last season. Jordan Miller got added to the game. G.G. Jackson, I would consider him a small forward rather than a power forward. I don't anticipate he's going to make it into very many games, given I think he's the youngest player in the NBA. Steven Adams is out for the year with a knee injury, as is Brandon Clark, having torn his Achilles in March of last year. So the team's going to be relying heavily on Xavier Tillman, Santi Aldama, and then players like David Roddy and Jake LaRavia, who were pretty buried on the depth chart last season, are probably going to see a lot more minutes at the power forward position as Jaren Jackson Jr. slides over to center to fill the void by Adams. Wouldn't it be great if they still had Kyle Anderson rather than having traded him for the draft picks to get these guys who really aren't making a dent? Given that the Grizzlies are basically a contender now, and that the two guys, the rookie contracts, not really contributing to the championship aspirations that they need to. John Morant, also as an aside, is on like the Derrick Rose path. Like, he's a supreme athlete, but because of that, his peak is going to be probably a lot earlier than most other players, even aside from all of the legal issues that he's been dealing with. Not being able to stay on the court, stay out of trouble with the league offices and whatnot. Right now the Grizzlies should be trying to contend. I thought that the Roddy Laravia trade was or draft picks were kind of short-sighted, and if it's ever going to pay off, it's going to have to be this year. But moving along to Atlanta, not really anything to note here. Actually, I guess Miles Norris, 3-inch discrepancy. He is 6'10", not 6'7", so you'll want to adjust that. Highsmith is out for the first couple weeks. The Hornets cut Edmund Sumner today and signed Ish Smith, given that Frank Ntilikina is out for the first month of this year. The Hornets decided that they wanted additional point guard depth. Sumner's sort of a point, like he plays point guard defensively, but offensively he's definitely not a play initiator or anything. And really the only other guy they have on the team after LaMelo Ball is Terry Rozier. So they just wanted to bring in some additional depth. And Lord knows the team could also use a veteran, given that they have guys like Miles Bridges, etc., who are and a lot of young guys. They need some veterans in the locker room. Nothing really changed for Utah. Sacramento, Jalen Slauson is a power forward center here, but 6'7", 215. Dude is a wing. So hopefully they didn't screw up his tendencies too badly, giving him like power forward type tendencies rather than small forward tendencies. If you recall, a couple of years ago, Isaiah Livers entered the NBA, or entered NBA 2K 2K whatever year, as a point guard, shooting guard were his positions, rather than the power forward, small forward, which is what he actually is. And he probably has messed up. He definitely has messed up ratings relating to that, even though it's been like 3 or 4 years. He probably has messed up tendencies too from when they, for whatever reason, decided that he was a point guard entering the NBA at 6'6", 230 or whatever. But New York Knicks, not really any change. Actually, yeah, they bring in Charlie Brown Jr. back in the NBA, and Obi Toppin's little brother. These guys are all on standard contracts. Dwayne Washington got re-signed to a two-way after being cut. The Lakers two-way guys all got added. Hood-Schifino's out for the first week or so of the season. Lakers are playing right now as I do this recording against the Denver Nuggets. Dexter Dennis got added on his two-way. Harry Giles, as I mentioned before, back in the NBA. And of the two, of all the players that got re-added to the game, I believe him and one other guy I got to come across, Jerome Robinson, I believe, is the other one. All the players that got added have 0 badges, obviously. Giles, because he was a former NBA player, I think he's got like 4 years of experience, or 3 years. Where could I find? Oh, okay. Well, he doesn't have career stats because I guess they didn't implement that or consider, whatever. Okay, yeah. He's back and he's got 3 badges. Masher, relay passer. I don't know what the hell relay passer, why he would need that. Maybe post playmaker, not relay passer. It's kind of weird. Yeah, all right. Armani Brooks is back in the NBA as well, and they had Jalen Wilson. No changes for the Denver Nuggets, although, wait. Oh, there he is. Okay, Vlatko Cancar. Yeah, he's out for the year. Isaiah Wong and Tishbiwi got added. Najee Marshall's out for like the first 2 to 4 weeks, I think. Trey Murphy's out until December with his injury. Jose Alvarado, his injury was kind of announced late, but he's going to be out for like 2 weeks. He's been injured for like all of preseason, and I think he tried to ramp up, and it didn't. It was a no-go. So They need to add that injury. I think Larry Nance is supposed to be playing in the opener, although he didn't play in preseason. So like keep an eye on him. He's kind of been snake bitten with injuries his entire career. And they had Kaiser Gates. Matt Ryan got claimed off waivers from the Wolves. Bogdanovich is going to miss the first month of the season, I believe, with an injury. He didn't play in preseason. So Asar Thompson has a clear path to start at the 3. They're going to end up wanting to change his position from the shooting guard to the small forward as a result. Also, ditto Monte Morris. He's out for the first couple weeks, and Isaiah Livers, I believe, is out until December or late November. Malcolm Calazan gets added, and Stanley Umud gets a 2-way contract. Marcus Noel, whoops, typo. He is not 34 years old. He's 24 years old. So, funny. And then Freeman Liberty gets added to the game. Christian Koloko, I believe, is out indefinitely with an injury. He didn't play at all in preseason, although a timetable also wasn't given for his for whatever his injury was, and it's kind of undisclosed. So it might be like a medical thing. Not sure off the top of my head what's going on there. I think Jalen Green had a rating change because I think he's 84 by default. I gotta double check on that. Unless maybe his height changed, and I think maybe his height changed in the training camp listings, and then I boosted his height by 1 inch, and that probably boosted his overall rating by 1. That might be what that is, because I've been looking at him as in my roster as like an 84 overall. Nate Williams is actually Jonathan Williams. He changed his name, or he prefers to go by that. Whatever. Samuels gets added, and then Nate Hinton was a late addition to the Houston Rockets. They cut Darius Days and Trevor Hudgens, whatever, T. Hudgens. He played 5 games last year. Less than 100 minutes. Super impactful. All these 2-way guys. And Tari Eason's out for the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season with an injury. Spurs, obviously, they're going to need to change Wembanyama to a power forward. It's only the most heralded prospect to come out in the last 20 years. They gave him an 84 overall out the gate, the highest rookie rating ever given out by 2K Sports, but they can't even get his fucking position right. And I went over in a Jeremy Sohan video that you can check out on my channel, 28 minutes breaking down all of his attributes and badges, as he's going to be the starting point guard on this team, although that decimates his overall rating. I don't know how they're going to sort that out, really. But, Spurs also have a total of 44 badges combined, whereas LeBron James has 46. So I would definitely will be doing a Spurs video this season once I get all of their ratings and badges done, as they are one of the more exciting teams in the NBA this year. Certainly, primarily because of Victor, but also guys like Devin Vassell is a really underrated, unheralded 3-and-D guard that most teams would love to have, but nobody knows really who he is because he's been playing for the Spurs for the last couple of years. But the league is about to be put on notice for Devin Vassell, I think. Bediako and Rice get added as well. Damian Lee's out for an undisclosed period of time with the knee surgery. Maybe check back at the All-Star break or something would be my tentative guess. The Suns are one of the teams that don't have their third 2-way slot occupied. I anticipate that it's going to be Keon Johnson, who they waited until the last minute to pass through waivers, probably to hinder other teams from being able to sign, being able to or willing to offer him a roster spot. He wouldn't get claimed off waivers with his making $4 million a year or whatever it is. But I anticipate that Keon's probably going to be the third 2-way guy for the Phoenix Suns, as he played okay in preseason. And certainly they could use younger guards with all the vets that they have on the team. Worth noting that Bradley Beal is going to miss the opener tonight. but it's not expected to be a long-term injury, just like one game. Keontae Johnson gets added. Poku and Jalen Williams are out for like the first 3 weeks or so of the NBA season, which is going to be a huge. I would expect that Chet Holmgren's going to be one of the biggest movers in the first roster update as a result, because there's no other backup centers, and he's going to, he didn't play all of last year, so former number 2 overall pick. They're going to give him as much to eat as they possibly can. I personally would have had Chet at like an 80 overall, just from like his draft scout and scouting stuff. Only 2 badges for him, so 2K does a great job with the badges on a year-to-year basis. So let me tell you. So expect him to have a pretty sizable bump. Jalen Clark got added, but he's out until like February following surgery. Nothing really else to report with the 76ers. Scoot Henderson. You know what? Another player that probably is going to go up in rating. They did a really shit job with the rookie ratings, I think, this time around, as all these guys are, Scoot and Victor. Scoot would have been the number 1 overall pick in a lot of the last couple of drafts that we've had. And, the first overall pick, like last year, Paolo Banchero ended up with like an 84 overall in the second or so update that 2K did, or the first ratings update that they did. So I would anticipate that Scoot's probably going to be in the 80s in a couple weeks. Probably should be higher rated, as rated as highly as Simons, Aiden, and Brogdon, higher than Time Lord, etc. Golden State. There's Jerome Robinson, the other player with a badge, needle threader. Okay, sure, whatever. And also, I'm sure his stats, are non-existent. Why would they be? Well, they keep some records, but I don't know. Yeah, bizarre. Like, so they lose, they keep some things and then like lose others whenever they make a new. I guess they don't transfer over from like previous 2Ks or something. Maybe the issue is like they've added what's it called, like advanced stats and stuff to those stats pages, so that they would need to, like, they only have one set of the numbers, but they can't upload all of them. Who knows? I don't know. And then actually today we find out whether or not Chris Paul is going to be a starter on this team. Although Draymond Green it seems like he's going to miss the first game of the year, so he probably would end up being a starter. So we probably do have to wait one more game to find that out. And then Washington Shamit's out for the first like month or so with an injury. And ditto for Anthony Gill. Ditto for Johnny Davis. I didn't realize that. 2K finally taught me something today. And then they brought in John Butler Jr. Thank God there's a junior, because otherwise I'd lose my mind with the other guy on their two-way is also a Jay Butler. Oh my God. All right, thanks guys for watching this video. Keep an eye out for future 2K official roster breakdowns throughout the year. I'll be analyzing any ratings updates that they make in the official rosters, and then any major badge changes as well. I usually go in depth breaking those down as well. So keep an eye out for that. Follow, subscribe, etc. Subscribe on patreon.com/real2krosters, and I'll see y'all throughout the year. Peace.